doing something called Why Hire a Kenyan? You're trying to brand Kenyan labor. Just the way we talk about Kenyan coffee, why it's of high quality, why our flours are the best in the world. We are aware that your department is currently trying to brand the Kenyan labor so that these people out here can get to understand. When you go out there, what are people looking for? Why should they hire a Kenyan?
Very good. Thank you, Balozi. So there's a reason people buy Kenyan coffee, or there's a reason people buy Kenyan tea. There's tea from other parts of the world, there's coffee from other parts of the world. Reason people come to Masai Mara as tourists. It's a branding issue there. Why should you go to the Masai Mara and not to the Serengeti, for example, and so on? Why should you buy Kenyan coffee as opposed to Ugandan Robusta coffee and so on? When we are talking about Kenyan labor, there are also certain brand elements in there that we are trying to bring out a little more in our information so that employers around the world understand Kenyans are different from others in particular ways. Some of those things you can think about and have already been mentioned here because we all know them, is a work ethic. Right? Kenyans are hard workers. This is something that we have been told over and over again, and we know this. So we want that to come out clearly. Why should you hire a Kenyan as opposed to a Tanzanian, a Ugandan, a Congolese, and so on, is because we're saying that Kenyans are hard workers. Kenyans speak English, which might be a vestige of colonialism, but has worked out in 2024 to be an important element of why you would go for Kenyan labor as opposed to labor from Angola, for example, which is a Lusophone country, right? So, and actually what I hear often is that the Kenyan English accent, many Kenyans don't think they have an accent, but we all do. A Kenyan English accent is easy to understand as opposed to a Kenyan accent from Western Africa or Southern Africa or elsewhere. So a few brand elements to think about: work ethic, English, work ethic, English. And this comes up all the time. That because we have a vibrant hospitality culture, this has helped Kenyans fit in opportunities around the world just because they understand the need to serve quickly, to serve with respect, to speak properly, I don't bring you a glass like this when I'm serving it to you, right? I put it on a tray and I put my other hand behind my back, and so the people here who are in that space can tell us. There is that element. We also are well educated. So on average, Kenyans are much better educated than other people in the sense that you have free primary education, you have free secondary education, you have access to TVETs, universities and so on, particularly through programs like HELP and so on. So people will tend to be educated. This is something that you need to highlight to labor markets around the world. And another one that we didn't actually think was important, but it keeps coming out often, is that Kenyans come from a multi-ethnic, multi-religious society. So over the years, Kenyans have learned to live together with others, to tolerate each other. People who have a different faith, people who dress differently, eat different kinds of foods, believe different things, and that works out well when you go to countries that believe differently, have different cultures, and that has turned out to be something that is a big part of the reason why we should hire a Kenyan.
Thank you very much, PS. Before I move